Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. And if you are new here today, honestly, you could not have picked a better moment to show up, because what we are covering in this video is something that has had the entire automotive enthusiast community talking louder than anything else in recent memory. Chevrolet is bringing the Camaro back. I need you to really let that land for a second. The 2026 Chevrolet Camaro is coming back. One of the most iconic, most beloved, most emotionally charged nameplates in the entire history of the American automobile is returning for 2026 and carrying strong right through into 2027. And from everything we know about this revival, Chevrolet has come back with a purpose, with a plan, and with a product that is going to remind the entire world exactly why the Camaro has always mattered so deeply to so many people. So get comfortable, everybody, because today we are going all the way in on the return of an absolute American legend. Now, before we get into the details of what the 2026 model looks like and what it brings to the table, I think it is genuinely important to take a moment and appreciate the weight of what is happening here. Because the Camaro is not just a car, it never has been just a car. When Chevrolet introduced the original Camaro back in 1966, they were not simply launching a new model. They were making a statement about what American performance culture meant and what it could be. The Camaro was raw and exciting and accessible in a way that made it the car of an entire generation. It was the car you dreamed about as a kid, the car you saved up for, the car you modified and raced and argued about with your friends. It became part of the fabric of American life in a way that very few machines ever managed to achieve. And when Chevrolet made the decision to pause production, the reaction from the community was immediate and it was loud. People were not just disappointed, they were genuinely heartbroken, because losing the Camaro felt like losing something that belonged to all of us, and now it is coming back. And that feels like getting something back that should never have been taken away in the first place. Chevrolet clearly heard that reaction. They clearly felt the weight of what the Camaro means to people, because the approach they have taken to this revival is one of genuine respect and genuine ambition. They did not rush this. They did not cut corners. They went back to the essence of what made the Camaro great, that combination of dramatic design, exhilarating performance character, and accessible excitement, and they built the 2026 model around those core truths. The result, from everything we have seen and heard, is a Camaro that honors every generation that came before it, while standing completely and powerfully on its own as a car of 2026 and 2027. That is exactly what this revival needed to be, and Chevrolet has delivered it. So let's start talking about the exterior, because with a car like the Camaro, the design has to carry an enormous amount of responsibility and an enormous amount of expectation. And from everything we have seen, the 2026 model rises to that challenge in spectacular fashion. The body of the new Camaro is low and wide and muscular in all the right ways. The proportions are long and purposeful, with a hood that stretches out in front of you with this wonderful sense of drama and intent. A wide front track that gives the car an incredibly planted and confident stance, and a roofline that sweeps back in this tight, fastback-inspired arc that looks absolutely stunning from every angle. This is a car that looks powerful standing still, and that is one of the hardest things in automotive design to achieve. The front end of the 2026 Camaro is bold and aggressive in the most satisfying way possible. The grille is wide and commanding, flanked by sharp, angular lighting elements that give the front of the car this intense, focused expression, like a car that is completely serious about what it was built to do. The hood has these subtle, sculpted details that add visual tension and strength to the surface, giving you that sense of something powerful sitting just beneath the surface waiting to be released. The bumper treatment is clean and purposeful, with intakes that are functional and integrated rather than decorative. And the overall impression from the front is of a car that means serious business without ever tipping into being cartoonish or overdone about it. It is aggressive in a mature, confident way, and that balance is exactly right for a car with the Camaro's reputation. Down the sides, the body is taut and sculpted, with strong character lines that run from the front wheel arch through to the rear of the car, creating this wonderful sense of forward motion and energy even when the car is parked. The door surfaces have just the right amount of drama to them, enough to catch light beautifully and make the car look alive from different angles, but controlled enough that the overall shape never feels busy or overwrought. The greenhouse is compact and purposeful, sitting low over the cabin and giving the Camaro that classic muscle car proportion that fans of the nameplate have always loved. It looks right. It looks exactly like a Camaro should look, and that is the highest possible compliment you can pay to a design that carries this much heritage. The rear of the 2026 Camaro is where things get particularly exciting, because Chevrolet has clearly spent a lot of time and a lot of attention on making sure the back of this car is as dramatic and as satisfying as the front. The taillights are wide and horizontal, stretching across the full width of the car in a treatment that is clearly connected to the design language of the most celebrated Camaro generations, while feeling completely fresh, modern. The rear diffuser and bumper treatment give the back of the car real presence and real aggression. And the overall impression from behind is of a car that is just as exciting leaving as it is arriving. The proportions are perfect. Wide hips, a short rear deck, a lone owl stance, and the whole package together makes for one of the most visually satisfying rear ends of any American performance car in years. Now let's step inside, because the interior of the 2026 Chevrolet Camaro is something that Chevrolet has clearly treated with the same level of seriousness and ambition as the exterior, and the result is a cabin that genuinely feels like it belongs in a modern performance car at this level. The moment you drop into the driver's seat, and you do drop into it in that wonderful low, enveloping way the great sports car seats always feel, you are immediately surrounded by an environment that puts you in the right mindset. Everything is oriented toward the driver. The dashboard wraps around you in this purposeful, cockpit-inspired layout that puts every control exactly where your hands want them to be. The instrumentation is clear and direct and focused on giving you exactly the information you need without cluttering your field of vision. The materials throughout the 2026 Camaro's interior represent a genuine step forward for the model. Soft-touch surfaces where your hands naturally fall. Quality stitching on the seats, the steering wheel, and the door panel inserts. Carefully chosen accent materials that add visual interest and a sense of premium quality without ever making the interior feel like it is trying to be something it is not. The Camaro has always been about honest, direct performance character, and the interior of the 2026 model reflects that honesty while bringing a level of refinement and quality that the previous generation's most dedicated fans have been asking for. The front seats are excellent, deeply bolstered and beautifully shaped to hold you in place during spirited driving while remaining genuinely comfortable for longer journeys. The driving position is spot on with a low seating height, a perfectly angled steering wheel, and excellent forward visibility over that long, dramatic hood. Sitting behind the wheel of the 2026 Camaro and looking out over that hood toward the road ahead is one of those automotive experiences that reminds you exactly why you fell in love with cars in the first place. It is theatrical and exciting, and it never gets old. The rear seat area is compact as you would expect from a car with this kind of roofline. But Chevrolet has made the most of the available space, and for shorter journeys, two adults can sit back there in reasonable comfort. The overall cabin atmosphere is one of focused, purposeful excitement. This is a driver's car, a car built around the person in the front left seat, and every element of the interior reinforces that identity clearly and consistently. Quality is solid throughout. Fit and finish is excellent, and the overall impression is of a car that feels genuinely well put together and genuinely worth its price tag. The driving character of the 2026 Camaro is expected to be true to everything the nameplate has always stood for. Engaging, responsive, exciting, and rewarding in a way that makes every journey feel like an event rather than a commute. The suspension tuning is expected to strike that classic Camaro balance between flat, controlled cornering ability and a ride quality that is comfortable enough for daily use. This is not a track-only machine, and it was never meant to be. It is a car that is exciting every single day in every single situation, and that everyday excitement has always been the Camaro's greatest strength. Now let's talk about pricing. Because the 2026 Chevrolet Camaro has been positioned to make a serious statement in the performance car market, and the pricing reflects that ambition without being unreasonable. Entry-level configurations are expected to start somewhere in the range of $35,000 to $42,000, which is an incredibly compelling entry point for a car with this level of design and this level of performance character. Mid-range trims with the more substantial specification levels are expected to land in the $50,000 to $60,000 range. And the top-of-the-line performance variants, the ones with the most aggressive tuning and the most comprehensive equipment packages, are expected to push towards $70,000 and potentially beyond, depending on options. At every price point, the Camaro looks like outstanding value for what you are getting, and the entry-level price in particular is going to open this car up to a very wide audience of performance car enthusiasts who have been waiting for exactly this moment. Production on the 2026 Chevrolet Camaro is expected to begin in the latter part of 2025, with customer deliveries rolling out through the first half of 2026 and continuing strong through 2027. The demand for this car is expected to be extraordinary from day one. The combination of the nameplate's legendary status, the strength of the product itself, and the pent-up enthusiasm from the community that felt the loss so keenly when production paused is going to create a level of excitement at dealerships that Chevrolet has not seen in a very long time. If you are planning on getting one early, the advice is simple and consistent. Do not wait. The Camaro is back. It is bold, it is beautiful, it is well made, and it is priced in a way that makes it accessible to the people it was always meant to belong to. This is Chevrolet at its absolute best, confident, connected to its heritage, and completely committed to delivering a product that lives up to the legend of the name on the badge. The 2026 Camaro is not just a car coming back, it is a piece of American culture coming home. And that is something worth celebrating with everything you have got. So what do you all think? Are you excited about the return of the 2026 Chevrolet Camaro? Is this the car you've been waiting for? Let me know absolutely everything in the comments below because I read every single one and I love hearing what you think. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. It genuinely helps the channel more than you know. Subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss a single video as we follow the Camaro all the way from announcement right through to launch day and everything beyond. I will catch you all in the next one. Take care, everybody.